Sunday on Denver 7, from snow in the high country to fires along the Front Range. Colorado's spring weather continues to keep people on edge, what you can expect heading into the work week. National Crime Victims' Rights Week starts tomorrow. How this year's theme of rights, access, and equity for all victims is impacting people here in the metro.
Honestly, the strongest-willed people I've ever met in my life. People just very resilient.
From Marine to magician to delivering supplies to those in need in Ukraine. One Coloradan is stepping up as crisis continues overseas.
Good morning and welcome to Denver 7 News. I'm Jessica Crawford.
And I'm Katie LaSalle. Thank you so much for being with us on this Sunday morning. And let's take a look first at the stories making headlines. Parts of I-70 are back open this morning after snow in the high country caused multiple slide-offs and some safety concerns. Crews completely shut down the highway between Copper Mountain and Vail Pass around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Westbound lanes opened around 8:30 last night, and as of 10 o'clock last night, eastbound lanes were expected to open. A lot of people, though, stranded for hours.
We're learning more this morning about a man from Boulder who set himself on fire at the U.S. Supreme Court building.
Yes, so this incident, it shut down the area on Friday night and made national headlines.
As a medical helicopter landed outside the Supreme Court building, police have not released a motive, but we've learned that 50-year-old Wynn Bruce died of his injuries. He was a photographer in Boulder who owned Bright and True Photos and had been recognized for his work. We spoke to neighbors in Boulder who say he was quiet and never made any political statements. This week, one neighbor drove Bruce to an RTD bus stop because he didn't drive. Bruce told him that he was going to Denver to meditate.
Well, it's crunch time for the Nuggets. They are gearing up for Game 4 of the playoffs against the Warriors later on today in town. You can watch it right here on Denver 7. Tip-off is at 1:30 at Ball Arena. And if you are heading out to the game, it's going to be mostly clear skies to start the morning and then increasing cloud coverage around midday. It is a really beautiful start to our Sunday all across the plains under that mostly clear sky. As mentioned, we did pick up snow over higher terrain this morning, waking up to mostly cloudy skies near Glenwood Springs. Sun is shining over Longs Peak, over Rocky Mountain National Park, but we did see some significant snow totals over 10,000 feet with yesterday's storm. This morning, we are still dealing with areas of snowpack roadways over higher terrain. Rabbit Ears Pass there, it's going to be areas of blowing snow continuing for this afternoon. But it's clear skies this morning here over the metro areas. We take a live look from Westminster, looking off to the west. Temperatures are cold. We're only in the upper 20s over Aurora, down through Castle Rock, a little bit milder north near Fort Collins and Greeley. Teens into many of our mountain towns, and especially over higher terrain. Leadville at 16, only 18 currently in Alamosa, with upper 30s in Burlington. Now we will see a little more snow move into the mountains today with winter weather advisories posted down south. More on the next chance for seeing moisture here over the metro area coming up.
An update now to a story that's been top of mind all weekend. We are tracking two fires that have been burning since yesterday. The Silver Charm fire in Colorado Springs is still sitting at 17 acres with 75% containment. No homes were damaged. Then there's the Allen Creek fire in Park County, which continues to burn. So far, it's charred 13 acres. Because of the high winds, we are seeing fire restrictions across the metro. The latest, the city of Lakewood put a fire ban in place for City Park and open space areas last night. That means no fires of any kind in these locations, no model rockets, and essentially no smoking outside of vehicles or buildings.
We have some encouraging news this morning. The Allen Creek fire is now 50% contained. The United States Forest Service says the Colorado Correctional Industries 20-person crew is now on the incident, upping the staffing to continue to contain the blaze just north of Lake George. And the preparations for this summer's fire season, they continue today. The Colorado Division of Fire Prevention and Control is hosting helicopter-based fire trainings today with the Colorado Army National Guard. It's all part of an annual training in partnership with several national and state agencies. Crews training are going to be all over the metro area today. They take off from Vance Brand Municipal Airport and Buckley Space Force Base. Those in charge of today's training say the main goal is to make sure crews have a realistic and comprehensive response when disaster strikes.
And here on Denver 7, we've reported for months now on the uptick in crime in the Denver areas and the responses from our state and city leaders on how they hope to make things safer. Well, now it's time to focus on the victims of those violent crimes. Denver 7's Christian Lopez is live with us now. And tomorrow, Christian, is the start of National Crime Victims Week.
Yeah, it is, Jessica, and there's also an event tomorrow to remember victims and survivors. It'll take place in Golden, and everyone is welcome to attend. It's going to take place at the First Judicial District Attorney's Office, and the event is put on by the Colorado Organization for Victims Assistance. This group has been doing a lot of work to help crime victims and their families get justice and heal for nearly 4 decades. And the theme of this year's event is rights, access, and equity for all victims. National Crime Victims' Rights Week also focuses on recognizing the efforts of professionals and volunteers who support crime victims all over the country. According to the FBI, the number of hate crimes in 2020 went up to the highest it's been in nearly 2 decades. And the Department of Justice says that the Office for Victims of Crimes helped around 19,000 people who were impacted by hate crimes through grant programs in 2021. And if you want to attend the event in Golden, it is going to take place at 5:30 tomorrow. I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says he is meeting in person with top U.S. officials today, while the people of Ukraine are attempting to celebrate one of their most important holidays of the year, Orthodox Easter. The State and Defense Departments are declining to comment on whether these meetings are happening, but if they do travel to Kyiv, they will be the highest-ranking U.S. officials to meet with Zelensky in the war zone. Zelensky made comments about the meeting during a press conference underground on a subway platform, where he talked about threats against his life.
I don't have the right to be afraid because our people showed that they're not afraid of anything.
Meanwhile, Russian forces continue their attack on Ukraine. There are claims Russia fired 6 cruise missiles just this weekend, killing at least 8 people and hurting another 18.
One Colorado man is traveling to the war zone himself. Aiden Sinclair is a former Marine and performs as a magician at the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. He says after seeing the war in Ukraine on TV and social media, he just knew that he had to step in and help. He donated every penny of his magic show, and it brought in over 2 months. And he says that he even maxed out his credit cards to buy medical supplies and body armor. He then personally flew to Poland and crossed the border into Ukraine to deliver them to the front lines.
I think as Americans, we don't like bullies. It was just such a blatant act of aggression and such a blatant act of, violence, that you can't not be upset about it. You can't not, want to take action.
Sinclair is set to land back in Colorado this weekend, and he's already planning his next trip to Ukraine to deliver more supplies.
Well, Coloradans are now part of a national movement to protect wild horses. What changes they want to see from federal leaders in the future.
And it's closing weekend for lots of ski resorts where you can still go next weekend.